Is Sarah Jakes Roberts simply a reflection of her father, Bishop T.D. Jakes? Behind her glamorous reputation lies a troubling truth. Some say a toxic family system and a dangerous obsession with money are slowly tearing their legacy apart. And most people have no idea how deep this goes. What you're about to hear might completely change how you see both of them. On the surface, it looks like a family filled with faith, success, and influence. But people close to the situation say there's something much darker happening behind closed doors. The public sees inspiration and power. Insiders see manipulation, control, and a hunger for wealth that mirrors Bishop Jakes' own reputation. This video is going to break it all down. The family secrets, the money battles, the emotional toll, and why many people now believe Sarah Jakes Roberts is repeating the same patterns that made her father both famous and feared. To understand Sarah, you have to look at her father. Bishop T.D. Jakes is one of the most powerful religious leaders in the United States. With best-selling books, massive sermons, and an empire built on influence, he is more than a preacher. He is a brand. But the image of strength and spiritual wisdom hides a much more complex story. A story that shaped Sarah from the moment she was born. Sarah grew up in luxury, surrounded by wealth, faith, and high expectations. Some say she was never given space to just be herself. Instead, she had to carry the family name, live by strict rules, and perform at all costs. Insiders describe the Jakes household as intense and controlled. Her father's leadership was seen by some as harsh and demanding. Love, they say, was often based on success and how well you followed the rules. While trying to live up to her father's name, Sarah also tried to find her own path. But people close to her believe the emotional cost was high. Some say she developed the same behavior she grew up with: controlling, demanding, emotionally distant. And this would later show up in her career, her public life, and even her marriage. Financially, the Jakes brand grew fast. Book deals, speaking tours, merchandise, ministry events. But at what cost? When faith becomes a business, money can take over the message. And in this family, critics say that money became more important than personal relationships. Everything started to revolve around branding, growth, and influence. And Sarah, whether she knew it or not, stepped into the same pattern. Sarah Jakes Roberts is now a powerhouse. She is an author, speaker, pastor, and social media figure. Many admire her for rising above early struggles, including teen pregnancy and public setbacks. But some wonder how much of her success is her own, and how much is thanks to her father's empire. She had a powerful platform from the beginning. Book deals, stage time, ministry roles. Critics say the brand was handed to her, and she learned to protect it at all costs. Over time, people started to notice similarities. Sarah's tone, her leadership, her silence when facing criticism. Some say she comes off as dismissive or rigid, just like her father did when protecting his image. She built a business model out of her ministry with multiple books, paid talks, online courses, and branded merchandise. But with that came whispers. Was this about faith or profit? Even within church circles, there were rumors. Some of Sarah's partnerships and endorsements seemed more about money than ministry. Those close to the situation claimed that decisions were made for financial gain, not spiritual calling. As the income grew, so did the pressure. And with that pressure came cracks in her personal relationships. Sarah often shares her love for her husband and children. She speaks about faith and family, but people close to her say that things are more strained than they seem. The demand to appear perfect, to maintain the brand, has reportedly hurt her marriage. Sources say that financial decisions have led to major arguments behind the scenes. Some family members even feel like they've been pushed aside for the sake of business. Those who know Sarah describe her as strong-willed and focused, but others say she uses that focus to control the people around her. From family to staff, it is said that decisions must go through her, and expectations are strict. Some say it feels suffocating, especially when it comes to how she runs her social media and public image. Every post, every statement is carefully chosen, and while some call it smart branding, others say it hides real struggles behind a picture-perfect image. The push for more money and influence may have helped the brand, but it also caused emotional distance. Sarah's many projects, her books, her talks, her businesses bring in major income. But at what cost? Critics argue that spiritual leadership gets lost when money becomes the top goal. People who once felt close to her now feel like outsiders. The same was once said about T.D. Jakes. And now, history seems to be repeating itself. The most heartbreaking part might be the impact on Sarah's children. Living in a world where faith, business, and fame all mixed together is confusing. Experts worry that unless the cycle is broken, Sarah's children could face the same emotional pressure she did. Sarah has talked publicly about healing and changing family patterns, but critics say that the same habits keep showing up. So the question is, will her actions match her words? To really understand what's happening, you need to look at the deeper issue. Bishop Jakes was not just a father, he was a brand, a legend. Growing up as his daughter meant more than being part of a family. It meant becoming part of an empire. Perfection was expected. Obedience was rewarded. Mistakes were not allowed. For Sarah, this became both a gift and a curse. Experts in family dynamics say that children of powerful parents often struggle to find their own identity. They are caught between honoring the family and breaking away from it. That seems to be true for Sarah. She wants to lead in her own way, but she also follows the exact patterns her father made famous. And since her life is always in the public eye, every mistake is magnified. Every choice becomes a headline. Critics believe the toxic traits we see in Sarah were learned at home. The control, the focus on money, the emotional coldness. But others argue that these patterns can be broken. Sarah has spoken about growth, therapy, and healing. She has shown that she understands what's at stake. But change takes more than words. It takes action. And so far, some say they haven't seen enough of that. Money is at the center of this story. In today's world, faith and business often collide. For the Jakes family, financial success means influence and survival. Sarah has used her income to grow her own space, show independence, and prove her worth. But when money becomes the main goal, it can cloud judgment. And in a faith-based world, it can make people question your motives. If Sarah really wants to change the story, it will take something very few public figures are willing to do. She will have to be vulnerable. She will have to show real emotion. She will need to choose connection over control and people over profits. If she does, she could become a model for others in similar positions. A leader who shows what healing truly looks like. But it will not be easy, and people are watching closely. Will Sarah Jakes Roberts rise above her family's toxic patterns? Or will she stay trapped in the same cycle of control and money? Only time will tell. What we know is this: her story is not just about fame or family drama. It is a mirror showing how power, legacy, and the pursuit of wealth can twist relationships, even in spiritual spaces. Sarah Jakes Roberts represents a paradox. She is both inspiring and controversial. She overcame major struggles and became a voice for millions. but she also inherited behaviors that may hurt the very people she claims to serve. Her story is a warning. When image becomes more important than honesty, when money takes the place of love, everyone loses. But there is still hope. Sarah's willingness to talk about healing shows that change is possible. So the question remains, will Sarah follow through on her promises of change? Or will she protect the empire at all costs? Her future depends on the answer, and so does the future of the family name. If this story shocked you or made you think, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Do you think Sarah Jakes Roberts can truly change course? Have you seen similar family patterns in your own life or community? Hit the subscribe button for more stories that dig deep into fame, faith, and the truth most people are afraid to say out loud.